Got to Paul here from the locker room. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. We're trying to reach 1,500 subscribers for the end of January, and let's get into it. We had some interesting news come from Rick Westhead, and this is a quote from the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress. Ovechkin has never condemned Russia's genocidal war and continues to post a photo of himself with Putin on his social media account. The UCC has asked the Canadian government to refuse Alexander Ovechkin permission to travel to Canada. Alright, this is getting to fever pitch of ridiculousness. Alright, so personal opinion, this is extremely stupid. You're punishing Alexander Ovechkin for a war that he is not in direct charge of. I know there's probably going to be some people in the comment sections, well, Paul, he didn't denounce the war, he didn't do this. Listen, he's had a public statement, he doesn't want violence, he doesn't like war. What do you expect from somebody that still has family in Russia for him to say? You do understand there could be consequences for him being outspoken against the Ukrainian-Russian war. The Ukraine-Russian conflict, there's a lot going on there. This isn't a political channel, so I'm not going to go into the particulars with it. But I do think this stance by the UCC is laughable at best. You are punishing a player because of the country they come from. So on the flip side, this is what I have to actually ask. After the atrocity that's been coming out with Hockey Canada and how they have treated young women, and how there's been multiple people tied to that, are we going to start banning Canadian players from coming into the United States? No, because you're not going to punish a whole group of people for the actions of one. I think this mindset is so dumb. Alexander Ovechkin, I will repeat this, Alexander Ovechkin is not the leader of Russia. He is not in charge of the military. He is also in a very precarious situation because he still has family in Russia. And we all know when you are outspoken in Russia against Putin, you either get poisoned or you get bye-byed. Let's just completely be honest with that. Yes, he is a well-renowned hockey player, but look at what happened to Panarin when he was outspoken about Putin and what happened with his family about him having to go back to Russia to deal with that situation. At the end of the day, these are hockey players. They are not politicians. The next game in which he plays in Canada is against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So are we just going to bar every single Russian player that has not been outspoken against this war? This is obviously just for clicks and likes to get attention for the UCC. But this line of thinking is extremely dangerous because you can tie a lot of nationalities to some terrible things. I'm going to be very clear when I say this. The UCC is definitely using the platform of dead bodies to get notoriety and attention. Let's just call it what it is. Because if they really cared about the Ukrainian people and they truly cared about what was going on, there is far greater issues than Alexander Ovechkin. But they will use their platform to stand on the pile of dead bodies to get attention to themselves. And that, in my opinion, is disgusting. That's the strongest statement you will hear on this channel politically. I typically just like to keep into sports, but this report was just so foolish. I felt like I had to say something. Captain Paul for the locker room. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts down below on this situation. Do you think I'm being far too harsh, or do you agree with me? I'm Captain Paul, and I'll see you in the next video.